Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of Expresso podcast.
We really hope you lasted longer than we think you did on the last episode.
And we hope that you find this episode more interesting
and more enjoyable than the previous one.
Yeah. So in this episode, we have a topic in mind that always...
It's very controversial, I believe.
Yeah.
It's history. And how much do you think of the history that you were taught or grew up learning is actually real or actually accurate? Now, real or accurate, it's the same thing. But how much of it was actually based on true stories or facts or things that actually happened in the past?
Yeah, that is true. And a lot of people have spoken about this topic. Do you know Vsauce?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a whole episode of history. And if I remember correctly, the title was, Did History Happen?
Nice.
And he talked about a lot on history and how we perceive it now. And if some events did actually happen.
Because, if you think about it, if history happened the way it happened, if history didn't happen the way it happened, it basically shaped everything that we are today.
True. Like, it changed the way that we behave now, I think.
Yeah.
It did. And so a lot of, can we say myths, maybe? Can we use that word to describe some things that we think they happened, but they actually did not? Or legends or something like this? So I was reading about the Trojan War the other day, and apparently it was not, it did not happen. It wasn't true. The whole legend of Troy and the whole Trojan horse, that was not true. That trick was not true. It did not happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. So actually, there's no Troy. There is no Trojan War, and
so there is no Troy, no Helen,
nothing. So Brad Pitt actually lost an ankle for nothing.
Pretty much. But another thing, I do believe strongly in stories can never stay as original as the first time they were told. That's something I strongly believe in.
What do you mean by that?
Like, let's say I tell you a story now.
Okay.
Whatever it is, like from A to Z, I tell you everything, and then you go tell it to someone else, and then someone else tells it to someone else. And then in a couple of years, do you think that story is going to stay the same as what I told you?
No, definitely not.
Yeah, so what makes history so legit?
Yeah, but like, if you, let's say, look at major things, okay, and if they happen, people are going to talk about them, but because they're major, everyone is talking about the same thing. Yani, let's say that now we're living in 2023, and let's imagine that a supernova happened. I don't know. We saw a huge star in the sky. So everyone would be talking about it. I would be talking about it. You would be talking
COVID could be put as an example.
COVID can be put as an example. Actually, we lived it for 3 years approximately.
But that's the thing. I'm not saying all of history is not accurate, but how many parts of history were made up that shaped us today? That's another way to look at it.
True.
Let's say, I'm not saying 100% of history is made up or not accurate, but let's say some things have been changed. You get what I mean?
Yeah, maybe. Actually, my friends and I were talking about some like similar topic. So we were talking about flights in the Pacific Ocean, and we were talking about this Bermuda Triangle area. So actually, we were wondering, and we were like, is it true did it actually happen? Like, did
all that flights, ships, whatever that was lost there?
Yeah,
if it was ever lost.
Exactly. And if we can consider that history, like as something happened in the past, or some myths that have been passed over generations. So in a sense, did that happen?
I just thought of one of the myths that come across, which is the monster lake or the sea lake or sea. Sorry,
Sea monster.
I just remember one of the stories that I read recently about the sea monster. I don't know if you've seen that picture. It's like black and white, and it's like a little dinosaur-looking thing.
No, I don't know.
It's a very like low quality image, and then I stumbled across a small. I think it was like something. I don't even know where I found it. It was a video or an article. I can't remember. So apparently, that little thing that's out of the water, it's no monster.
What was it then?
Basically, it's a big whale that's sticking out a slong. And someone took a picture and just posted it and was like, oh, it's a sea monster.
Yeah, but
But the picture circulated around a lot. And no one was sure what it was until someone came out and was like, whales like to flip around and just be on the surface. Or just their schlong shows up. Maybe he just captured it during a mating season.
yeah, maybe.
What else? What else have you seen that you think could be conspicuous other than the Trojan War? Wait, what was it? 7 Wonders of the World? Some of them are...
yeah, the Hanging Garden of Babylon. So apparently that wasn't accurate.
There's no like archaeological evidence supporting.
So the myth or the thing as we know it is that Babylon had some garden that was hanging, literally.
No, that's not. Okay.
I mean,
so
that's the version that
I don't know where you're at your version of history, but basically the Hanging Gardens was just a big, massive castle, and then the gardens were on each layer. So they just called it hanging because it was on high levels of. If you search up a picture of Hanging Gardens of Babylon, there's no hanging gardens. It's just a big castle with a lot of greenery.
Yeah, but that's when you search for it now. But like when
No, but that's always been, no.
Really?
I don't know. I've never thought about it that way because I don't know. It just doesn't make sense.
I was introduced to it.
Or is it a floating garden
here? Like
no. So it was a big castle with different levels, and it was full of greenery. Basically, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know how accurate the pictures are. They're just depictions of what we read in history.
Yeah, I mean that picture that you're describing is something that I learned when I had access to internet, like let's say, I don't know, 10 years ago or something like this. So
the other one is the lighthouse of Alexandria.
Yeah,
that's another thing that everybody says it was there, but they can't find any evidence of it actually existing. It's a big lighthouse.
It doesn't exist now.
Yeah,
you're saying it doesn't exist now?
No, it never
existed.
No, they say there was a lighthouse.
Okay,
there's just no evidence of it. I think another part of history is ancient Egypt. And how much do we know about ancient Egypt from what we've discovered so far?
Apparently, we know new stuff every day.
Yeah,
new information every day. Like the other day, I read about Sphinx and who built it. Apparently, until now, they cannot tell who actually built the Sphinx.
And like what time period
and why did they build it? So
I mean, we still don't know how they make the mummies, how they mummify. Oh, and recently I came across this post that talked about changing the word mummy. So, because you know the whole thing that's going around, like he, she, her, they, them.
Yeah.
Even the mummies couldn't stay away from that. So apparently they found a different name.
What is it now?
A mummified person.
But they still use the word mum.
Yeah, but it's just not like, I don't know.
They can't say dadified, no?
I legit don't know why they had to make that up. Like, why did they have to change it? Anyways, but yeah, till now, they don't know how mummies were actually made the way they're made after they died.
Yeah, and why were they made? Like, they were made to preserve
the way. No, the why is, according to what we found so far, is that they believe in the afterlife and they cross it and stuff like that. And that body, they believe that body that they mummify will cross to the afterlife in that form, as it goes back to being alive.
So if they mummify it, it will cross into the afterlife, and if they don't, it will not.
No, that's what they thought.
Okay.
It's not about if you don't mummify, you're not going to cross. But it's just, it was a luxury, by the way. Not everyone was mummified. It's just the royalty was mummified. But I don't know what the rest of the population believed in. So again, that goes to prove that we're making shit up as we go. I mean, you just read recently as well, the Rosetta Stone had almost nothing to do with the explanation of the hieroglyphs.
Yeah, exactly.
So that goes to say none of what we learned growing up is actually true, or some of it is not true, you know? So yeah, going back to the mummies and why they mummified their royalty, since the Rosetta Stone had nothing to do with the translation, according to these new findings. Now again, you'd go back and think, did we actually know, or do we actually know now how the pharaohs and ancient Egyptians actually lived their life? Is everything that we decrypted from the walls of the pyramids or walls of archaeological sites around the pyramids, like how accurate what we thought they said is what it actually meant?
In a similar related topic about archaeological finding, we can bring up dinosaurs. So for me, I don't think dinosaurs were real, but apparently scientists are
Wow, you just jumped to non-existing.
What?
You didn't even discuss dinosaurs. You just went to like, dinosaurs don't exist.
No, that's my opinion, but scientists, they're discovering new...
I don't completely disagree with you. I looked at it from a religion point of view. Let's say, like, for example, in Islam in general, and the Quran, a lot of things are mentioned. Not a lot of things, like some animals are mentioned, some plants are mentioned, some trees are mentioned, a lot of nature is mentioned.
Okay.
But there isn't a single mention of a freaking dinosaur.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, they found bones, but what tells us that these bones were not made up? That's one thing. Second thing, they related the dinosaurs to lizards. And then they're like, oh, they have scales and they have skin. They don't have feathers. But now other archaeological findings are suggesting, oh, some dinosaurs had feathers instead of like scaly skin.
And then they said some dinosaurs could fly, even though they were huge, like really big animals, and they can fly, which again, for me, it's not really logical. I mean, I cannot imagine.
Now, man.
But what?
We fly in planes.
Yeah, we do fly in planes, but imagine like if you look at the sky and you see 20 meters creature flying, waving its arms or not arms, wings. I don't know.
We'll never know, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, I see all these, for example, you see them in the Dubai Mall, you see like a full structure in the middle of the Dubai Mall. It's, I don't even know what the name of dinosaur is. It's like one of those...
Tyrannosaurus, something like that?
No, the one that eats plants. That's not a carnivore. The one with the long neck. So yeah, like it just goes back to who found the first dinosaur. Supposedly, it was a dinosaur. Like bone remains and all these kind of things, and they reconstructed it to look the way it looks now. You know what I mean? That's another theory of mine where I don't think dinosaurs actually exist. You know?
I mean, yeah, true, but this is, again, it remains an opinion. As I said, I don't believe they existed too, but the scientists think they did. Will we ever know what really happened?
Are they scientists or are they just hobbyists?
They're paleontologists.
Hobbyists. As Ross said. Oh my God. But yeah, another thing is the human species. That's another point of view of mine where I don't know why were there many different skull shapes and types. Okay, let's argue this. I do agree that different continents had different types of humans, let's say.
Mhm.
And that's basically according to our nature. We adapt to whatever our surrounding environment is. But were we actually stupid at the beginning?
I don't think, no. If we were stupid, we would have not survived.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't agree with the whole Darwin's theory, basically, where we evolved from apes or we're evolved apes, you know? But it still raises questions because I studied history back in high school, and it had like this list of pictures of skulls, of different types of skulls, you know? And it just makes me wonder, was it just because of, like I mentioned earlier, that it's just for adaptation? You get what I mean?
Yeah, I do. But again, if you look at that, if you compare it to the Rosetta Stones, so is it like the same? Is it some place in history where we think this is what happened while it actually did not?
Or it could have been due, again, something in the environment where, or it's just a disease, or it's just like a sort of thing that created these shapes of skulls.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That could be.
And our skulls are just the way they're supposed to look right now. And it's just, you had some derivatives over time. And then they just came like, okay, so this one is, we're going to call it this. And this one, we're going to call it that. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I mean, we cannot.
Just a bunch of bored people. Again, the other thing as well, the other day, they're trying to bring back the big mammoth. Why?
What do you mean bring it back?
They want to bring it back by year 2028 or 29. I don't even know.
How?
2040.
From where? How?
I mean, they found remains. They're just going to use the DNA to just impregnate an elephant, I guess. Because I watched a TED Talk about a group of rich people and scientists that were funded by these rich people who wanted to bring back, there's what we call a messenger pigeon that went extinct. And you have, there's this other tiger that went extinct as well. A bunch of animals. One of them was the mammoth, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we just want to bring them back." And like, I mean, maybe there was a reason they went extinct. You know, the mammoth, it got too hot; he couldn't survive anymore. So some of these animals, okay, they were hunted, and they were hunted for sports, and people tried to preserve them, but it didn't work out, and they went extinct. Those ones, okay, I understand if you want to bring them back, but there were ones that went extinct for an unknown reason. So why would you try and bring them back again? You know what I mean? So like I said, it's just a bunch of bored people with money. That's all I understood from the TED Talk. I'm rich, I have money, I'm bored, I want to bring back animals. This is just another scenario of Jurassic Park.
Imagine if someone decided to bring back dinosaurs.
I mean...
Now, if they decide to bring back a mammoth, why would they not think to bring back a dinosaur?
Yeah, but
like
then
the little
it begs the question. Were dinosaurs real?
No idea.
At least we have something very close to what a mammoth looked like, which is an elephant. But do we have anything that looks remotely close to what a dinosaur looks like?
Actually, some scientists relate birds to dinosaurs, but we still don't have an idea if they were the same line of species or not.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Again, we go back to the point about how legit are the facts are we reading in textbooks or online or whatever, and the source of these facts that are given about whatever the topic is, whether it's the pyramids or ancient Egypt or dinosaurs or animals in general. So this concludes our episode for today. Whether history was real or made up,
We'll never know.
stay tuned for the next episode, guys.